Now, locating where the Garden of Eden was originally located is difficult. Um, the Bible did say that there are some rivers that pass by the Garden of Eden, and ironically, these rivers are passing through Iraq. And so many individuals tend to think that the Garden of Eden was located in Iraq because of the rivers. And so, as I've given it a little more thought, because I even subscribe to that view that it might be Iraq and not Africa. So, was it Africa or Iraq? It probably could be neither. You see, first of all, the Garden of Eden has been taken from the earth and gone to heaven simply because of that tree that was in the garden, the tree of life and the tree of death. Had Adam and Eve had access to that tree of life after they had eaten of the forbidden fruit, then they would have lived on forever, it seems, and it would have been horrible seeing these giants and all the rest of the kids. Or I don't know if that immortality would have been passed on to their kids, but it would have been counterproductive because the sin is death, not necessarily eternal death. Well, eternal death, but also coming along is this sleep and death which many of us will experience at the end of our days. When you realize that the flood had drowned the whole world, this gives you another mix-up, because the Garden of Eden would have probably been located lower. Now, with the flood, the water came from above the earth, and the water came from under the earth, and joined with what was like an ocean or a sea or a lake. It grew and filled and covered the whole earth, so that all the water did not go back into the earth, at least, and I'm sure it didn't go above the earth. So this is why the seas are so high, and therefore Iraq and these places would have been on top of a mountain. All the places that we live today are on top of the mountain, and the Garden of Eden would have been lower. It would have been somewhere, miles lower than we are here today. And who could say that those rivers, when they were lower, became these rivers when the earth is flooded and some of the water remains and we're living at a higher level? So right here, this seems to me to throw a wrench into this. And then it's clear that since Babylon and come Iraq was the Babylonian Empire, that they had the prerogative of changing names and doing things that they want. I've lived in this day in the age of many of these big powerful nations, and I'm seeing things they're saying and things they're doing and things that they believe and so forth had nothing to do with truth. It's just that, it's me, and I must say this, and that's it. That's the end of the story. And I guess it's the same thing with Babylon, because Babylon knew that these rivers were important, and I'm not sure what benefit they hope to have achieved by saying that these rivers passing through Babylon, through Iraq. So there are two problems here that I've tried to solve. First of all, the Garden of Eden has been taken out of the earth. God took it up, and probably is going to come back when He comes to restore, this earth. When He takes the saints, His children, away for the 1,000 years. When they're coming back with this new Jerusalem, the Garden of Eden probably going to be in that, because this fruit is what folks are going to be eating, to sustain life, as it were. So it's not on earth. You can't find it. It's not an apple, because apples just recently were sort of created, as it were, maybe 1,000 years ago or something like that. And so Babylon or Egypt right now, Iraq so far is so high up that these rivers could have never been the original rivers. And being the superpower, they must have changed the name to suit their own fancies. So I've tried to look at this. If you have any other opinion, I'll be delighted to hear it. But the Garden of Eden is not on earth again. It's taken up to heaven. And the rivers that pass by the Garden of Eden are not those that pass through Babylon or Iraq. So there we have it. We're living too high to really give those rivers any consideration.